So today we're going to be seeing if we can beat Sonic CD without touching a spring. Now, in this run, I need to see as much as possible, so I'll be playing the Christian Whitehead version on iPhone X. And if you didn't know, iPhone X's are an 18:9 for some reason, but I'm thankful for that right now because now I can see a lot and avoid as much springs as possible. And the reason why there are no buttons on screen is because I actually used a PS4 controller, and this isn't a tutorial on how to set up PS4 on iPhone X, so if you want to learn how to do that, then look it up on YouTube. This isn't a tutorial. Also, the only thing we have to avoid in this run is springs, so literally anything else that bounces does not count. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so Palm Tree Panic 1 is actually possible. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of trial and error involved, but it's possible. Now in Palm Tree Panic 2, there's this spring in the beginning, but it's way too easy to avoid. A few careful and precise jumps later, we reach this area, and there's no way to do it without using a spring. I tried other pathways, but I could never do it. So it is in fact impossible to beat Sonic CD without touching a spring. What a shame. So early on, too. So, since I found out that it was impossible so early on, I decided that I would see which stages were possible and which stages weren't. So here we go. Palm Tree Panic 3. Well, this is impossible, because there are springs on this side, and there's no other way to get up, so this level's impossible. Collision Chaos 1. Collision Chaos 2. Collision Chaos 3. Okay, so literally none of Collision Chaos is possible. So in Tidal Tempest 1, we reach this area right here that looks like it has a spring, and I was looking for another pathway for a while until I figured out that there was no spring right there, so we're all good. And we reached this area with 2 springs, and there is no other path but where the springs take you, so Tidal Tempest 1 is impossible. In Tidal Tempest 2, the beginning of the level is like this weird thing where you fall down, and I never understood that. And the path that they give you at first has a spring, so I thought that this level was impossible, but it turns out that we could just go another route. Then we reach this part. This part leads to this pit that you gotta carefully jump down, or else you're gonna hit a spring. But with some luck, I was able to do it. Then we go through some more of the level and avoid some more springs, and then... oh, you gotta be kidding me. This level is another level that's impossible. Now, Tidal Tempest 3 is actually possible. I mean, yeah, there is like one spring that you can accidentally hit, but if you avoid it, then you're good. Now on to Quartz Quadrant 1, it actually looks promising. I mean, like, again, trial and error and all that, but as long as you avoid the springs, it's possible. At least I thought, until I got to this area. I had some faith in this one, but Quartz Quadrant 1 is impossible. Quartz Quadrant 2 begins with a hidden spring that tripped me up a bunch. But once you get past that, there's another hidden spring. Once you get past that, the game crashes. Wait, I don't think that part was supposed to happen. I think it was just the Bluetooth connection, because a lot of glitches happened that did not happen before I connected the controller. Like, yes, the game is slowing down right now. Anyway, Quartz Quadrant 2 actually looks promising until I found this area that looked like it had a spring, but for some reason it didn't, even though it had rings pointing upward, so we're good until we get here. I had faith in this one too, but Quartz Quadrant 2 is impossible. Now, I began Quartz Quadrant 3 thinking that it was impossible because I used the Super Peel Out and then I would hit a spring. But then I had a realization. Owen, you idiot, just use the spin dash. And then after that, there's really no more obstacles, just boss fight, and then you're done with Quartz Quadrant, so Quartz Quadrant 3 is possible. Wacky Workbench 1 is seriously really easy, partly because I only counted springs, meaning that, yes, I could bounce on the floor here, and Wacky Workbench 2 is possible. and Wacky Workbench 3, which means that all of Wacky Workbench is possible without touching a spring. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really try with Stardust Speedway 1 because the whole gimmick is that there's springs, so do you blame me? Yeah, I did try with Stardust Speedway 2, but like only for a little bit because it's actually like really impossible. Stardust Speedway 3 is actually like really possible. It's just that I really hate the boss fight here because I always freaking die, but it's possible. Metallic Madness 1 is like impossible, like immediately. I tried going on this little platform here, but I couldn't really get enough height, so it's automatically impossible. Metallic Madness 2 is also immediately impossible. However, Metallic Madness 3 is actually very possible because all you have to avoid is that moving spring. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really beat the boss because I couldn't figure it out and this challenge was already frustrating as it is, so I got a game over. So I suck at Sonic CD, so there may be a lot of stages on here that I said were impossible that might be possible. So for those of you Sonic CD veterans, if you want to do this run, then go right ahead because you're probably gonna find some stages to be possible that I thought were impossible. Also, just to trigger you, I use the US soundtrack.